represent the 1st Battalion, 95th Rifle Regiment of Foot, who existed from 1803 to 1816 and are the forerunners of the modern rifles, and the traditions that we set up and the tactics that we used 200 years ago are still used as a basis for modern soldiering. What we were demonstrating earlier on was how they worked as pairs of soldiers. The weapon that they were using, the Baker rifle, was very slow to load. If you fired 2 a minute, it was very lucky. So it was imperative that always one of them was loaded. So one would fire, the other one would then cover while he reloaded. So there were never a time when neither of them were loaded. And if you think of 600 of them spread across a quarter of a mile across a battlefield, all firing, there would be a lot of dead soldiers ahead of them. Now, these weapons they were using were accurate up to 200 to 300 yards, whereas the weapon of the main army, the Redcoats, was accurate to about 75 yards. But their weapons were designed to be fired en masse, so you would have 5,000 of them going off at once, whereas we were designed to pick off officers, corporals, sergeants, drummer boys, all the communication within the army, to disrupt it, to make it easier for our Redcoats to then go in and finish the battle off. Our group is made of people from all over the country. We've got people from up in the north, in Derby, over here in Suffolk, and down in the south. And we all come together at events, and we try to live the life that existed for the soldier in those days as accurately as we possibly can. We are 21st century people, so we got modern comforts, but we try to make it as interesting and as accurate for the public to see what's going on. Why we do it is because we're interested in the period, the Napoleonic period, how it was conducted, how things were run, how the army was run, and how you would behave and how the battles actually ran. And the only way you can do that is to actually live the life. So we live it in camp like we're doing now. We go into battles like we did the reenactment of Waterloo 200 last year, where there was tens of thousands of reenactors taking part. And in that way, we learn how things happened in those days and how the books describe it, but you can't really feel it until you do it, and that is our main aim. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending. This is quite an important little firing display for you. It is what we call part 2, we did part 1 yesterday, of our annual firing competition to see who is the sharpshooter of the year. We call this is the Plunkett Trophy, which they're all firing for. Now, this was regiment, the 1st Battalion, 95th Rifle Regiment of Foot, which existed 1803 to 1816. They used the Baker rifle. It was a new weapon in those days, designed to be able to kill from a distance, aiming at a person, rather than a block of soldiers coming towards you. The Redcoat Army in those days were trained to fire a mass of lead straight at the enemy. So you would have 2,000, 5,000, whatever, firing as a block, just aiming at another block coming towards them. In those days it would be a block of blue, because that's what the French wore. They wouldn't aim at a particular man. If you were standing in front of a musket, redcoat of those days, at 75 yards, and he pointed his weapon at you, if you were killed or even hit by him, it would be extremely unlucky. However, with the new breed of soldier, the rifleman, their weapon was rifled. It made the ball spin, it was a tighter fit down the barrel, and it made it go further and harder. So if you were 200 yards away from a trained rifleman, if you survived that outcome, you would be extremely lucky. You would probably be dead. At worst, you would be severely incapacitated and of no use to anybody. However, in order to maintain that level of accuracy, they had to train daily. And each rifleman had to fire a certain amount of ball a day, and on the results of the target practice, they were adjudged to be either a first-class rifleman, second-class rifleman, or a third-class rifleman. Now, unlike today, third class meant the best. So, first-class riflemen wear the black cockade, which is the standard cockade, which is the little black circle thing underneath their plumes. If you became a second-class rifleman, you would get a white cockade, and the ultimate would be a green cockade, as you can see some of these are already wearing. And you could hit 99 times out of 100, you would hit whatever you were aiming at, and it would be a small target at quite a distance. Now they use ball. We obviously can't use ball because it's a bit dangerous, so we've changed our competition so that it's the fastest firer. Now we've already done it yesterday and we've got the results, and we combined the results of yesterday and today to arrive at the winner of the Plunkett Trophy. Now Plunkett was a sergeant. Well, he was a sergeant sometimes. He was demoted up and down so many times. I think they must have had, if they had Velcro, they would have had Velcro stripes on him. But he was an excellent shot. And he is supposed to have, during the retreat from Corunna, have made 2 amazing shots. Now it becomes amazing because, as with any story, it